Morning everyone. Sorry about that. Internet here at the moment is absolute rubbish. We've got some work going on outside, so I've moved myself to the kitchen. Thought I could hotspot off my phone, but no such luck. So I'm now using the Wi-Fi, which is also pretty cagey today. So if this one doesn't work, I'm afraid that's going to be it for the day. So anyway, welcome. Today, card and stamping techniques with me, Fiona Whitten from Oakfield Crafts. I'm sharing with you a easy peasy stepper card. This is one that I made with the acorns a while back. It's based on a design from Pauline Barnfather. She shared this on a Stampin' Stars Facebook Live. They get together on a Sunday, which I don't always, well, I never managed to make, but so I borrowed her instructions and we did this on acorns, and now I'm going to share it with you. So this is the floral art stamps, paper and things. I'm not actually using that for today's card. And so far so good, touch wood, it carries on like this. So I'm actually going to be using the Dragonfly Garden stamp set together with the Dandy Garden paper. For those of you who've not seen it, this is what the Dandy Garden paper looks like. There are 48 sheets, they're all 6x6, and you get 4 each of 12 different double-sided pieces. So this is the paper I'm going to use today, and I'm going to coordinate it with, I'm actually going to use some Blackberry Bliss cardstock. So I hope you all saw the post I put up last night with a supply list. It probably seemed quite daunting. A lot of it is stuff that you would have in your basic card kits or your kits that you use for going to classes and things. So hopefully everything was to hand, maybe not the dies, and obviously the big decision is what paper to use. But as I said, I'm using the Dandy Garden, so I'm going to get my trimmer out. Now all these instructions are in inches, just so that you know. I did try and convert them into centimetres, but it ended up meaning that you needed something like 12.2 centimetres and stuff like that, so which does get a little bit confusing. I know most of you will probably work in inches anyway, and most trimmers nowadays have centimetres and inches also. I've got centimetres and inches on mine. So we're going to start off with your coloured cardstock. And you're going to cut that first piece to 8 inches by 5 3/4. Now this is just over 8 inches wide, so I'm just going to first of all turn it up to 5 3/4, because then I've got a whole piece is enough to make a card front if I need it, but actually we will need that again anyway. So I cut it at 5 3/4, going to turn it and cut it at 8. So it is 8 and 5 3/4, as I said. So that's that piece. The other piece from that other piece that you just put aside for a minute, you're going to cut a piece that measures 8 by 3 inches. So we've got 3 inches. Put the piece you don't need to one side, and I'm going to cut this at 8. So then I've got 2 pieces, one which is 8 by 5 3/4 and one which is 8 by 3 inches. So the 8 by 3 inches with the long side at the top, you're going to score it at 4 inches. So effectively you are scoring it in half, and that will just fold like that. And I have a bone folder. I'll just quickly use my bone folder just on that side there. So it looks like, makes like a mini card. So I just put that to one side for a moment and bring back your 8 inches by 5 3/4. Now with the 8 inch length at the top of your trimmer stroke scoreboard or whatever it is that you're using to score this, you want to score it at 3 inches. And remember to make sure that you are using your scoring blades and not your cutting blades. So I'm going to score it at 3 inches, 6 inches, and 7 inches. Okay, so you've got your larger piece has got 3 scores on it, and your smaller piece has just got the 1. Now this piece, we're now going to fold it. So if you have it so that the narrowest panels, these 2, are towards you. And I'm just going to move my trimmer out of the way for a minute because that's kind of in the way. So with the 2 narrowest panels towards you, the first score line, you're going to make that a mountain fold. So when I say mountain, you're basically making it so that it looks like that. So it looks like it's a peak, okay? The next one, you're going to do that as a valley fold, which means it's like a trough, so it goes down. And then the next one, you're going to do that as a mountain fold. And you need to make sure that you've got all these nice and crisply scored. And burnished with a bone folder. So you will end up with a piece that when it's the open edges are towards me, look like that. Okay, so that is all the scoring and cutting that you need to do for your cardstock. So hopefully you got that. So we've got our 8 by 5 3/4, and then with the 8 along the top, you score at 3, 6, and then 7, and then fold accordingly. I will put all these instructions up. I know I'm a bit behind on things. Happy to say that Jenny has a new job, which is really good, but it does mean that there's even more restraint on our internet, sadly, but there you go. Right, so that's all the cutting, as I said, and the scoring you need to do with your cardstock, except for the white. I'll just reverse that bit. So then you want to bring in your designer series paper. When you're cutting the first piece to go, which will go on this panel here, please be aware that you need to make sure that your image is the right way around. There's nothing, well, actually, I guess these are dragonflies, but I guess them going sideways is not so bad, but ideally you don't want them to be like that. So we're going to now cut these pieces, and you know what, I cannot see for the life of me. 5 3/4 by 5 1/2. Right, so this first one, you want to cut it so your design wants to go that way, so you want to turn it to start off with originally, just to do the height. So you're going to cut that at 2 3/4, like that. So obviously, if you've got a design that it really doesn't matter which way round it goes, then you can just do what you want to and just go mad. And then the second cut is 5 1/2. So you've got a panel that is 2 3/4 by 5 1/2, and that's the piece that will go on that panel there. So it's kind of the middle one. If you open these out, So it's going to go there. Okay. Now you can either use the reverse side or you can introduce a second piece of designer series paper, which is what I'm going to do. And this one is going to go on this panel here. So I want that to be 3/4 of an inch. Like that, by 5.5 inches. So that piece is going to go here. Now I've only matted with the paper. If you want to mat with a different colour cardstock and then some paper, then you would want to cut your cardstock to this size, and then your paper you would want to cut a 1/4 of an inch smaller, so that you end up with the border. But because this panel is so small, I just decided I would actually keep with the designer series paper rather than putting extra panels on. Oh my goodness, and I'm still live, so this is good. Obviously things are, I was going to say looking up, and I probably know my luck. Jinxed it. Okay, so the other panel that you want to cut is a piece to go on here. So this panel measures 4 inches by 3 inches. Just that little panel on the front there. So if you want to mat a piece of paper on that, you would want to cut it at 2 3/4 wide, and then 3 3/4 so that piece would go on here. Okay, and then the one other piece that you need to cut is a piece of white or vanilla, something that coordinates and will go with your paper. So I'm going to use a piece of Whisper White, and again all I need to cut it at is 2 3/4. I couldn't find my scrap, so I'm using a fresh piece, not to worry. 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Now that's the piece that you would put on that reverse side, and that's the piece that you would write your sentiment on, write your greeting on, or stamp a sentiment. It's entirely up to you. And then this piece I'm going to keep because that's what I'm going to stamp on. So now we can get to the really fun part, which is the stamping and the colouring and whatever else it is that you want to do. So I have that's my piece from the middle, that's that piece and that piece. So these pieces can actually just be glued on. It's quite straightforward, she says, and then realises that, oh, there it is. I was going to say I don't have any glue, but I've just found it. I've moved everything that I needed for this morning up into the kitchen, and Jenny has the use of the basement. The idea was that she was going to use the internet to do her calls, but that's failed. But somehow, for some reason, it's now working for me. Certainly a lot better than my phone, but oh well. She'll have to go back on again soon, So with the two smallest panels towards you, so the bottom panel, you want to put that strip, and then miss a panel, and then you want to put the larger panel of the paper on that first large panel that you come to from the bottom, or it's second one down if you're going the other way. this is the front of the card, so I just need to make sure that the paper is the right way round. So what you will see is that. So that's the beginnings of my card. I'm going to put on this piece of paper on here. I'm not going to put the Whisper White on just yet because I actually want to stamp on that before I do that. So this is just going to get put on here like that. Oops, I've obviously been a bit generous with the glue there. Okay. So I'm not sticking this panel on just yet because I want to decide whether or not I want to put some ribbon on. I can't decide at the moment, so I'm just going to do my stamping whilst I think about it. So this is the piece to go on the back, and I'm going to use that long image from the Dragonfly Garden stamp set. Now obviously I don't necessarily want the whole thing on there, so I'm just going to look to see where it goes. Maybe I'll just have it going down that left hand edge. So I'm going to ink it up with Memento. Could of course just ink it up with a colour and then not do anything else with it. So you could ink it and just do it in I don't know, Mossy Meadow or Calypso Coral or whatever, but I'm going to, trying to line it up with the grid paper, and I suddenly remembered this grid paper, the grids don't go right across. So I'm just going to put this, and I'm going to stamp it here on the edge. And yes, it's going to go off the left-hand edge of the cardstock, but actually I don't mind that. So once that's coloured, that will get stuck on there. So I will colour that in a minute. I'm going to leave that there to do. So this piece, now this piece is, once it's finished, is going to be die cut either using a rectangle. So you want a rectangle or an oval, you could do a circle, it's up to you, and it'll get fixed on this piece. So I'm going to use exactly the same image. And I'm going to stamp it in the middle, simply because at the moment I need to work out what die I want to use. So there's my image. I need to put that out of the way so I don't end up putting my fingers in it. Okay, dies, where are they? So I've got a real mixture of dies here. Squares are not really going to work. Now I could do, and what I suggest you do is you actually take your die to the actual piece, so I know that will fit, and then if I put it on here it would look like that, which is very cute. Circles, could use a circle, but I'm not really sure about that. The circle, that one would end up going slightly off the edge, which is okay, but I'm not really too happy about that one, so I'm not going to use that one. I've got some plain circles, so this is a stitched oval from the Stitch Shape framelits. I've got some other ovals, so I could, if I wanted to, let's see, I could mat it so that I could have one colour on the base and then use the next one down for the image. That would be quite cute. I've got, so there's all sorts of things you could use for this. I've got some stitched rectangles. Now, let's see. That one's too long, but that one would fit. So So I could use a stitched rectangle, and that's sweet. So those are the stitched rectangles. I'm just showing you what would actually go with this. And I've also got the Stitch So Sweetly ones. Now these are really sweet because they've got scallops and dotted bits. Now this is going to be too big, but that one would fit. So I could go with that one, which is what I'm going to, I think I'm going to use that. Okay. Right, so the next thing I need to do is I need to die cut that. Let's do that. Move this out the way. So let me introduce you to the new mini. This is the new mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and it's tiny. I didn't manage to bring my other one up to show you, but I mean, I can actually lift it with one finger. So it's really cute. I only took it out of the box this morning. So it actually comes fully made up. So the handle's already on it. Those of you who have got the new, actually even when you got the old machines, you had to put the handle on yourself. So but this one comes with the handle. It has flip down base. So obviously for storage, it's quite dinky. And as I said, it's quite light. Oh, if only we were doing Card A Cuppa now, I could actually take that with me. So you get the machine, and you also get all the plates that you need. And on the plates themselves, there are instructions on what you need to do to make up your sandwich. So if I'm just doing straightforward die cutting, which is what I'm going to do, I just need this plate number 1, and I need the 2 clear plates. See, not even been used. So that's what I need for that. Obviously, I need to make sure that it's a die that's going to fit through the machine, which this I know will do because it's only narrow. And it's just simply, it's like everything else. It tells you to put your cutting edge face down, which I do anyway. I know some people go the other way, but this new machine works far better. Now, I've never used this before, and I've seen a few people say that they have problems putting it through, but it's because they have, oh yeah, I'm going to put it that way, it doesn't really matter. They have put everything and squared it up like you would normally think to do. But on this, you actually want it slightly offset so that the machine, I need to get a bit of washi tape for this, I think. This is going to go walkabouts otherwise. You need to actually slightly offset the top die. So I'm just going to put that there. Hopefully it's not going to go walkabouts too much. I'll go there. So I just need to offset it slightly, and then you just put it through, turn the handle, and you get the cracking noise, yes. But that's it. So that should have cut everything for me. Just got to peel the washi tape off. Oh. Well, there's certainly a mark on the bottom there, so that I think that kind of proves that it's cut through things. Put that to one side. Let's take off. Okay, I think I did manage to do it so that I didn't. Yeah, there we go. I didn't stick it to the inside of the image, so that's good. So that is going to go on here. I'm going to put this away. Just fold it back up. And kind of, oops, sorry if that sort of set the ears off. So that's going to go on here. Now I am actually going to, I don't know, I'm going to colour this. I might not. I'll do a coloured one later and show you, but I'm just for the sake of putting this all together, I'm not going to colour this. but I do want to put some ribbon on. So I'm going to use a piece of, this is the braided linen thread in Mossy Meadow, and you can see that. So I'm just going to put some around here and tie that. Scissors. I think Kylo is hiding down in the basement with Jenny. He's really not liking the chainsaw noise, which is what we've got going. Those of you who've been here for classes know that there's a, or should say there was, a very large conifer thing in the front garden. Actually, it wasn't in our front garden, it was in the garden for the neighbours, but it overhung our garden by about 10 foot. It was so big it was ridiculous. It took all the light. So anyway, I got their permission to have it taken down, so that's coming down today. Hopefully it means that we'll have a bit more light in the house in the front. Right, so I'll just put that around. I'm going to fix this onto here with some dimensionals, she says, which I know I could bring them up. Okay. Bear with me 2 seconds. Joys of working from home. And everything gets automated, and sadly it doesn't always work. But there you go, never mind. Husband's had to do something. Right, so I'll put that on here. So that's that on there. I need to put a sentiment on, but I'll do that in a second. Now, this card, when I made it, I put this to one side, but it's really up to you for where it goes. So what you're going to do is you're going to open out this, and part of it is going to get glued to that small panel, like so. And then this part, this larger part, you want to make sure that it fits to the bottom, and it will get glued like that, so that when it closes, it will actually fit into a normal sized envelope. So you can put it in this piece in the middle. This is what I like about this, is because you can actually have it so that you can put that here and then put something else here, or you can have it in the middle and do something there, or you can have it on that side. It's really up to you, but all you need to do is make sure that you're only gluing this part to here and that part to there. And I guess you could use dimensionals as well if you really wanted to, but I am actually going to glue it. So I only want to glue, let's move that out the way, this portion here, and do one bit at a time. Don't try doing both at the same time, simply because you'll just end up with glue everywhere. Ask me how I know. So I'm going to put that on here. I'm going to have it quite a way over to the left. The other way to do it is just to simply open up this piece, because they're both the same length. or should be. And then you'll be able to glue this piece on here so you can see, you can eyeball it and see how much glue where you need to go. I'm not going to know that I've got enough glue on there. Right, so if you open it up, line up the top and bottom like that. Press it down. I did have too much glue. Just let that dry for a minute and I'll get my glue eraser on it. So when, and then it's like magic, it folds up and it stands up, and it's pretty sturdy. It's not going to spread, she says. You need to make sure, as I said before, that you've got really good, well done creases, and there you go. And that is it. And then really it's up to you to decorate as to how you want to decorate it. So as I said, it's an easy peasy stepper card. None of this having to get rulers out and cut holes and things and slots and things, which they make spectacular cards as well, but this is just a cheat, and I think it's just as effective, and if you don't have much time, then it's a quick one to do. Okay, so that's it for me. I will finish this off, or I'll do another one, put it all up on the Facebook, on my Facebook page. This recording will go up as well. I'll put all the on there. You've got that reference. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll be back next week, same time, with Card A Cuppa. So those of you who purchased the January kits, you should hopefully all have them by now. And we actually will be doing a dandy garden. We're using dragonflies next week. So I hope to see you then. And then if you do want the February kits, check out oakvillcrafts.com. Click on the top where it says Card Cuppa Kits Classes, and then click through and you can order your kit for February. The closing day is, I want to say, next week, so that I can get them in the post to everybody in time for the first one in February. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.